Tarun said I was very fortunate, very privileged to travel with him. We went to Thailand, to Chiang Mai. We went to Cambodia, and we had then a very astonishing 6 or 7 days in Myanmar. And one of the interesting things about arriving in Myanmar and meeting a lot of artists in spaces like New Zero Art and TS1, we'll talk a little bit about those spaces later, but every artist, every curator, every writer that we met would immediately say, it's really great you're meeting me, but have you met Popo? It happened every single time because in Myanmar, Popo is genuinely revered, I should say, by the art community. And he's been a painter since the late 1970s. And during the 1980s, he developed a conceptual practice and now really is probably best known for a combination of conceptual and performance work. So we will talk a little bit in a moment about the work that's just inside here, which I hope that most of you have seen, and it will soon explain our little VIP sign on the spare seat to our right. But I did want to say just a little bit about Popo's background, as Tarun said that I would. The first is that he's probably one of the very few Myanmarese artists who have had a long exhibition history outside of Myanmar. He participated in the first Fukuoka Triennial in '99, in Gwangju Biennale in 2000, Yokohama International 2005, Singapore Biennale in 2013, and really that's just to kind of skate briefly over his background. But just before I turn to Popo with my first question, I wanted to say a little bit about what it was like to meet Popo. When we finally got out of a taxi after God knows how long, raking from the centre of Yangon out into the sort of wider suburbs, we found a house which looked half demolished. And the right-hand side of the house was missing. And there hadn't been any dramatic events. We didn't know what explained this. And we soon learned that Popo was extending his house to build a new studio, a gallery, and a community centre. Maybe start by telling us a bit about what you hope to do in that centre.
Actually, thank you for attending to our talk. Actually, I intend to make that space for as like a community center, but not simply community center. Actually, it is like a meeting place for among our community, and then I will be invited to who interested to join to our community. So I intend to make every month or regularly every month we have to meet and discuss about currently art train, and then sometimes we will make the reading, poetry reading, something we discuss about theoretically how about the recent art history. That is my intention. So recently it is finished, and I am waiting to open maybe next year my center. Yeah.
It's interesting that a number of the artists we met, including Ung Lei, whose sick classroom is downstairs in 1.3, she and her husband, Ong Ko, also travel up to a village about 10 hours out of Yangon, and they've been running an art collective in this village for 10 or 15 years, and all of the small children in that classroom were carved by local craftspeople under her direction. So this spirit of kind of working at a grassroots community level seems a very common spirit.
Sure. Actually, me and Uncle and Ellie, basically the project is started by Uncle and artist Uncle and Ellie, and their intention is to promote in rural area, and who are simply they never touch with artwork. They didn't know what is art. But even in this place, the people, they trying to in touch with artwork and what is the recently like a contemporary art. Actually, I believe that, and also Uncle and Ellie maybe they will believe that, because people have instantly to to experience the artwork. So
Yeah.
they dealt this case to experience the people from rural area
Yeah.
to in touch with the
Yeah.
artwork. Yeah.
So a lot of the work you make as well is in rural areas. It's land-based art.
Yeah, yeah.
And you work often with sort of very discrete poetic interventions
Right.
into nature.
Yeah, right.
You want to say, because this is a very urban work
Yeah.
we'll come to
Yeah.
in a moment, but
Yeah.
maybe say something a little bit about that work that you've often done in rural areas.
Actually, I believe that I already told you that people have instant. I believe that art is just experience, it's just touch. That is the basic need. And then if you experience more and more, you can understand what it is. So I believe that to introduce to the layman,
Yeah.
to the grassroots level.
Yeah.
That is
Now-
my intention.
I think as most Australians would know right now, there's been a lot of coverage of the November 8 election.
Yeah.
And the National Democratic
Yeah.
Party have been elected
Yeah.
under Aung San Suu
Suu
Kyi's
Kyi,
leadership. Whether she ever becomes
Yeah,
president,
sure.
she is still leading that party. But there's still, among all the elation, there is still concern because it's not until March next year
Yes.
that the current party holding power, with its strong 25% of seats
sure.
being military seats,
Yeah, sure.
for them to transition power.
Yeah.
So the feeling among artists and your friends in Yangon is
Yeah.
it both happiness and anxiety?
Yeah, actually, around the international level, around the international society, they thought that people in Myanmar very enjoyed for winning the election from Aung San Suu Kyi's side, Aung San Suu Kyi party. But actually, in Myanmar, we are happy, but inside we don't move outside. So actually, this is first step to transfer the power. After next 3 months, they were transferred to Aung San Suu Kyi party. Between these 3 months, nobody knows what will happen.
Yeah.
That is our anxiety and our
Yeah.
our afraid of what will happen in future
Yeah.
and nearly future.
Because really there's been a form of either military or semi-military rule since 1962.
Yeah.
This is a very, very long intergenerational
Yeah.
period of time
Yeah.
under a very strict degree of government
sure.
control, which really affects the development of art galleries, public
sure.
spaces.
Yeah, sure.
As a practicing artist with a lot of that history in your
Yeah.
background,
Yeah.
how difficult has it been in those early years to make and show work in
Yeah.
Myanmar?
Yeah, very difficult to make our work. Actually, if you want to make a show, firstly you have to apply to information, and then you have to show exactly how many number of our work, and then description number by number, 1 by 1 or 2 or 3, number by number. You have to describe about the artwork, and then they will check, and then if there's a preview day, they will visit to the art gallery, and then they will check, and then they will check with you are applying. It is equal. It is the same or not. So if they don't like the artwork, it is suddenly cancelled.
Yeah.
That is. So actually, people in the artists in Myanmar, they create the simply like a realism, like an academic way. So that is the most of the artists, they create that side. The like contemporary art, like me and other artists, it is difficult to show. Every time we show, there's a lot of difficulty. Sometimes the whole exhibition cancel out. So like that. So in this situation, to make a solo show is very difficult. So I stopped at showing the artwork in Myanmar, 1997. This is the last time I showed in Myanmar, because of censor board and because of the some equipment or some support material is very rare to get Myanmar. So I stopped showing in Myanmar. This is 1997, the last time I showed there.
Right,
Yeah, sure.
right.
Because of Singapore and because of the supporting the material. Yeah.
Well, we actually, Tarun and I, experienced that
Yeah.
at TS1. We went to an evening event of about 4 hours of 12 women doing performance projects.
Yeah.
And Ung Lei was one of them.
Yeah.
And during that early part of the day, some government officials came by to inquire precisely what the work was to be. And then someone turned up later that night to ensure that it went as it was planned. So that's the first time I've experienced an exhibition that's almost been under observation, which felt quite uneasy. But anyway, it's a condition which many artists in Myanmar have become very used to. And almost every artist we met, when we talked about their practice, what do they do, installation, video, I'm a performance artist. It was almost every artist said, I'm a performance artist. And we became quite fascinated by this. And the more we interrogated that question, people would say it was safe to make performance in small groups of friends and colleagues out of public view. And that was one of the reasons why performance had really become a very strong and potent medium in Myanmar.
No, actually, performance is like a new medium in art world.
Right.
So young artists, young people interested to do in performance. Actually, to do in public space and to do even in gallery, it is like a race. We have to take risk. If someone, some authority, like a policeman, if he fall, suddenly it is under arrest. So making performance in street and making performance in gallery is like a risk. Risk take.
Well, this probably brings us to the interval to talk about the project inside, which is VIP project Yangon Dhaka. And it's a work that's really stretched between 2010 up into the present day. And just for those that may not have been inside, but I know you will in a moment, there are two corner-based screens. On the screen nearest to us on this side is a street scene in Yangon looking at a static video shot of a bus station. And on the other screen, directly opposite, perpendicularly opposite, is a street scene and a bus station in Dhaka. And on the bus station sits one or two or three of these signs. And then across on the far wall are a series of still photographic images taken from these hours and hours of watching the way that individuals in Yangon behave when they sit down on a bus station seat with that beside them, looking again across at those from Dhaka. Do you want to just take us through a few remarks about why those two cities and what is the difference in behaviour between people in Yangon, people in Dhaka in relation to that sign?
Actually, I studied BIB sign many long time. But actually, I studied in 2010. There's the background to evoke to me, to my feeling and to my experience. There's a lot of experience about this sign of BIB. In Myanmar, there's some story I would like to briefly. One of my friends, who is take his seat in a express bus, suddenly township authority come and told him, leave the seat for a BIB. So he have to off and take next back. And another story is only one of my friends who is take his flight seat already. But suddenly the officer or the airport come and request to him take the seat for a BIB. So he have to off and take the flight next day. There's a lot of story like in Myanmar because we are live over half a century under the pressure of dictatorship. So I have I want to make a question to people, or our people. What is the meaning of BIB today among our community, the same concept of dictatorship, who are run by dictatorship in the country. So actually, this project is just I want to questioning and the people or our Myanmar people or Myanmar people, their mindset. So another why I take the Kumon people, why I take at the bus store placing this BIB sign is the bus store is Kumon place, the grassroots level. So I want to investigate how their reaction to this side. So at the same time, I want to question them. If we are BIB in our life, how is our the idea on this BIB side? What is our meaning, the BIB side? So I place the BIB side around the city of Bastor and Yangon and Dhaka. The reaction of the people from Yangon and from Dhaka side is very different. Because every time the Myanmar people who see the BIB side, they will stay away from this side. Because this is authority and this is BIB. Because at the same time, at the Dhaka side, I think they already get the freedom than the Myanmar people. So if they saw the BIB side, they know that this might be joke. So their reaction is like amusement or something like that. It is very different.
Yeah.
So I would like to show this, the people reaction in my work, how they react with the BIB side and what is their opinion on this, what is their idea on this BIB side.
So before our talk, we spent 10 minutes sitting in the bus station, and we were bold enough to take the VIP sign down. We were the VIP, seizing the seat. But when you look at all of the footage from Yangon, there is a very different sense of response compared to Dhaka, which made me immediately think of Brisbane. And I must talk to the Lord Mayor. And I just imagined if this were placed randomly across bus stops in Brisbane, people go, what? It would just be like too ridiculous. What prankster has done this? But depending on the social condition within which people are living and working and the politic of that place, this sign can mean very many different things.
Yeah, sure. Many reactions. We can. This morning I checked in my room and back of the bus stop. Many other people who enter the room and they read my short bio, and then they look at the projection image and they laughing at the whole time. Because they already understand this might be joke or something like that. But actually, in Myanmar, it is not. It is really serious side, and people stay away from this side. Even today.
Now, I just want to take us back to your house. When Tarun and I went there, we sat down and had the usual glass of very cold water, which you need a lot of in Yangon, and we were shown on a television screen almost as big as the wall behind me. I'm exaggerating, but it was a very small home, but a very big screen. This was not for Fox Television. This was for all this wonderful projection that Popo was doing about his projects. And as we looked and looked, we found that your computer contained your whole history of projects, many of which you've never realized. So many of which you've never realized, but it might be 10 or 15 years after conceiving of an idea that project's moment comes, it arrives, and you take it out and you realize it in an exhibition. Do you want to say something about how you use almost your own archive of ideas in that kind of way?
Yeah, in the past, as you see, our country is just open yet, as you see, started from 2011.
Yeah.
So before that, our country is completely close to policy. So we can see outside what will happen. So, and at the same time, we have no chance to do something like this project or another project. So if I got an idea, I just keep in my sketchbook and then write down the exactly data, exactly dimension, and exactly what we do in future. That is a lot. So in this way, I have to say I am standing in this way in period over 50 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to say there's an odd parallel.
Yeah.
You might not know the artist, but in the foyer there's a work called Blade, you might have seen, by Len Lai, a New Zealand artist.
Yeah.
He worked so ahead in his mind that most of his ideas in terms of the big kinetic objects were never made in his lifetime.
Yeah, sure.
They were made by a foundation in his name 20, 30 years later.
Oh, yeah.
And so, but I think it's really interesting the way you mine your own history in some ways with your practice.
Yeah, I hope so. That so I did that. One day I can realize this all of this one, all of my work, all of my work in this skateboard. But even I can realize that some of my work, as you told, someone who are interested to realize one day. Yeah. So it can be come out. Yeah. I hope so.
So I'm keeping a little bit of an eye on the clock because it'd be nice to have time for questions. And I know that we're pretty programmed up today, so we'll try and end on time. But please, is there anyone among you that would like to throw a question at Popo?
In the circumstances where you can't make your art and show it in Myanmar, how you manage to earn a living?
Oh, yeah. In Myanmar, a lot of artists, they will say artists, but they have another job. I'm like a graphic designer for my survival. Yeah. In this way, I can survive over 40 years. Yeah. As a graphic designer. Graphic designer. Yeah. In Myanmar, before 2000, there's only two art schools. You can attend those two schools after high school, after grade 9. And after 2000, government, the authority, they start running the two universities, Yangon and Mandalay. But the course, the teaching course there is like academic way. Around 1950, some of the old master, like Ubachi or Ubanya, they go to London and then study there and come back, and then they teach in as school and university. Even today, all the teachers follow this way, academic way, not contemporary way, not modern way.
We were introduced immediately to maybe 15 artists, all of whom were ready with their PowerPoint to show us their work. And it was for them, pardon me, a quite rare opportunity to have curators from the Western world, although many have been going to Myanmar, from Fukuoka Triennial in particular, so the Japanese are regular visitors, Americans sometimes visitors, Australians not many visitors, and they teach an art program at New Zero, so the sort of informal collective teaching.
Today some institution like New Zero and TS1, they try to promote our art scene. So just they trying to get the supporting from abroad, and then they run at the run center, and then they collect some young artists and introduce to contemporary art to young people and young artists. who interested in. Yeah.
Can I buy art and take it out? They won't stop me, okay? Because when I bought art from China, I was always very nervous about bringing it out.
Oh, yeah, it's okay, but just accept the anti-work over 50 years.
Right.
Yeah. Otherwise, you can bring very easily.
Popo, will
Yeah.
the space that your studio is creating,
Yeah.
can you have your discussions in that without a threat to the authorities? Or is it only in public spaces where discussion's a threat or art's a threat?
Yeah.
In your studio, is it okay to discuss ideas that could be a threat, or will that be monitored?
Yeah, it is a little complicated. Yeah. In the small community, like 10 or 15 in our community, among our friends, it is okay. But more spread and more large, more growing people, I have to face to a township authority. That is, I have to face the problem. Yeah, next step. Yeah, recently, just I made movement first step. It is like a first step. I introduced to young people among our community, very small, 10 or 15 people. That's all. That's okay from recently. But next step, if I want to start more people, I have to talk to township authority. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any more similar works that deal with social influence like this one?
Actually, it is political, also social, because I want to question it to people, Myanmar people, also other countries like Myanmar who are run by dictatorship. So what is their mindset? So it is also, we can say the political or social or something like that. We can say, I can say exactly my what is political or my what is social, because it is very waving in many ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any more works that are similar to this one in that way, that you change something in a public space and see how people react?
Yeah, not too many, a few I have already made. Yeah.
Okay, well, if we've finished with questions,
Yeah.
It remains for me just to say thank you so much to Popo.
Oh, yeah, it's okay.
You've not only been a wonderful help to us in Myanmar,
Yeah.
guiding us to other artists as artists guided us to you,
Yeah.
But you've really opened up a wonderful window on art in contemporary Myanmar, and let's hope if we're doing this at APT9 or APT10,
Yeah.
it will be a very different reality for working artists and for practices inside Myanmar.
Yeah.
I'm sure we all hope it is, and I know that everyone here would wish you well with the development of your further practice,
Yeah.
and thank you for your participation
thank
in
you.
APT.
Yeah, thank you for. Yeah.
Thank you.